Well, hello, Facebook. Happy President's Day. It is America's Supermom, and it has been such a long time since I've been on. I have missed you guys, but I have been behind the scenes doing a lot of work and having a lot of fun free time as well. Because you know how it is. You're like, oh, I'm taking off a little while from doing my podcasts, especially. All right. I don't start my interviews until March 1st, which is just next week. So I took some time off from December to March. And I had this idea, you know what? I'm going to do all these things while I'm taking a break from doing podcasting. And I just can't wait till March because I'm going to have so much done, so much accomplished. And that list is still a list, okay? Because it just gets crazy, right? Every day runs into the next. But I have been very productive. I am in the middle of a challenge, and it's a 75-day challenge, and I'm on day 50. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that. And it has been quite a mental toughness exercise. So we call it 75 Love for many of you that may be aware of us doing this as a community in our Elephant Strategy Club on Clubhouse. But we call it 75 Love, which is an acronym for leading ourselves victoriously every day. So that is really the name of the challenge because as a club, we like to leave nobody behind. So it is really inspired by 75 Hard. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with it. If you are, just put it in the chat. But it's 75 days of this exercise that's really around mental toughness. So it consists of 5 things that you do every day. If you miss a day, you got to start over. So I am on day 50 and I haven't had to start over because you have to be committed. You have to eliminate the distractions. You have to set boundaries around your time. And it really is a challenge for you to really decide, is what I'm doing, is this challenge important enough for me to, really make it a priority and let go of some of these things that aren't serving me. So I'm just going to tell you what the components are. They are: drink a gallon of water a day, uh, take a progress picture, read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, 2 workouts for 45 minutes. One of them has to be outside. And right now, where I am, it's raining. So if it's raining, snowing, sleet, wind, tornado, whatever it is, you have to be outside for 45 minutes doing a workout every day at some point, right? So as I was walking this morning, it was not raining as hard as it has been later on this afternoon. It started off kind of, like a steady rain, but then it kind of dried up a little bit. So I didn't get too wet while I was outside. But it really helps you to really focus on, is what you're doing important enough that you're not going to let the weather stop you. Because you know how it is. It's like, oh, you're looking forward to these events. You're so excited. You got your outfit together. You know what you're going to wear, who's going to go with you. And then it starts raining. You're like, do I even feel like going? And a lot of times we don't even go because it rains. It's like, I got to carry an umbrella. What if the water splatters on my pants and maybe I should wear a dress instead, or shoes can't be open toed. They need to be closed. I mean, just it goes on, right? So weather can really stop us. And then the last component is following your own meal plan with no cheat meals and no alcohol. So it has been a challenge for some people. And it's so funny. I really don't drink a lot. I have a glass of wine occasionally, but it was like day 1 or 2. We started this January 3rd. So it was right after the holidays, but we had my husband and I's anniversary is January 2nd. So we had some wine because we had had a toast and had a great little anniversary with some of our older kids. So the wine was still around day 1. And it was like I never even think about it, but because I couldn't have it, it was like, oh my goodness, it was more of a temptation than it has been in the past. But it's so funny how the things that you think are not going to be a problem end up being a problem, and the things that you think are going to be easy are the challenge. So this workout thing, it has really helped me by getting outside, and it has just been such an example for my kids. They are watching me. They are really inspired. Some of them are actually working out more themselves. So it has really been quite an experience. So if you would like to join us, even though it's day 50, because everybody has their own journey, so we are more than happy to support you on that. We do have a weekly room that we do on Clubhouse. So the only caveat is you have to get on Clubhouse, and we can get in this room. We can support you and do the things that can help you on your journey. Now, the 75 Love turns around by being, you don't have to follow those 5 things. If you're like, hey, you lost me at a gallon of water or whatever I've said, then you could find out what are some things that you need to challenge yourself with this year. Maybe you need to do more Facebook Lives, right? I haven't been on Facebook Live in a while. Not because I didn't want to, but I've had other things going on. But maybe for you, this is a stepping stone. This is something that you could start out with. Hey, Trey, I want to say, hey, he's still supposed to be doing a podcast interview, but I'll let you off the hook a little bit, but I would love to have you on. I'm getting back on with my podcasting next month, and I think I might have some openings in either April or May, because I've still had my calendar circulating around. People have signed up, so I am going to be hitting the ground running next week with my podcast. So I'm excited about that. I love podcasting because I'm able to meet great people such as Trey. And I know it's funny because, I meet people and I'm like, hey, what you're doing is interesting. I would love to have you on my podcast. And they're like, podcast? It's so funny. I get that reaction all the time, but it's like, you know what? I find you interesting. I love what you do. You sound like you're passionate. I just want to share it with other people, because some people are like, oh, I don't want to get on a podcast. What am I going to talk about? But then they get on the show, they shine, and they have fun. And it really is infectious for the people that watch. They really get excited about seeing these guests, and they're like, man, they just seem like everyday people, like they're just having a conversation, because that's really what it's like. It's just having a conversation and telling people what you do, but in a way that it is engaging, right? And it's a great way for you to promote yourself on your website, because not everybody's podcast is like mine, right? You get on different podcasts and it's like, these are the questions. You're like, stiff and, feel like you can't be yourself, but that's not how mine is. We have a lot of fun, and you're like, man, that was great. And then you want to put it on your website because it really highlights you talking about what you're passionate about, and it really helps you. All right. So I can go on and on about the podcast, y'all, but I am on here because we are going to talk about, this is a perfect day to do what? And it says ... So what I want to talk about, since it is President's Day, is talking about building a nurture campaign. Now, many of you guys are thinking, nurture campaign, what is she talking about? But this is a good way for you to build your business and add to profitability. Now, it's the beginning of the year. A lot of us want to be more profitable. We can look over the past couple years, and we've had to sometimes get 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I don't know how many jobs to supplement our income, because things are going on in the industries that have been affected with COVID, for example. Maybe you were a keynote speaker at live events, but that business has gone through a major shift to be virtual. Now you're not spending as much money because you don't have to travel, but that also means your bills may not be going down, right? Your bill may still be the same with your mortgage, your car payment, your utilities, even though you've reduced some of your other expenses by travel. So you have to supplement your income doing different things. There's a lot of people that started small businesses to supplement their income. But when you think about a nurture campaign, you want to think about people that you're already providing services and products to right now. So I will give you a call. I think, you know what, you can just DM me your phone number or email address, and I'll send you the link so you can sign up. So sorry about that little side conversation, y'all. But you know, I love guests on my podcast. So Trey says that he's going to do it. So we're excited about that. But so my point that I was making is, seeing, this is another thing. It's kind of hard to be on here live reading the comments as you're talking, and then you forget what you were saying, right? But we want to make sure that we have a clear strategy on how we can take care of the clients that we already have. Okay. So whatever business you're in, right? Let's say that you are, you know, going back to this live events, you're a speaker, right? What are some ways that you can nurture some of these clients that you had and possibly convert them to another way of doing business because you can't go to their audience live? So maybe you can talk to them about paying you a fee, and then you quarterly do trainings with them virtually over whatever topic, you know. So this way, if their staff works remotely, they can all come together on this virtual platform, and you could train them all on these different industry topics over the course of a year, but you can break it down quarterly to where you may still get the same fee that you normally would, but it's you giving them more value rather than being a one-time speaker at a conference that they have once a year. So I hope that makes sense. You could also supplement it with workbooks or PDFs or slides or whatever. That's going to be some tangible products that their staff may get that can help them to really exercise a lot of the principles or topics that you discuss with them, right? It could be something that's branded by you, but specific for that company or organization, right? So, you know, if it's a restaurant person that you're talking to, you know, you could come up with a theme that's specifically for them. You know, the Wendy's Love campaign or something, I don't know, or whatever, you know, like if your topic is talking to them about customer care. So Wendy's loves customer care. And so you break that content up into 3 or 4 different ways, and you dish it out to them quarterly in a way that's going to serve them and their clients. So I hope that makes sense. I'm just kind of coming up with this idea off the top of my head. But the whole thing is thinking about staying in front of your customer and providing things that they may need that they may not even know they need, right? So their clients or their staff is going to continue to need to be trained, whether they're at home or in the office. Now, maybe because they're at home, they need more discussion on how to establish priorities or ways to keep their kids occupied, you know, because they're at home virtually, as well as the parents, right? I don't know. But you can find out and do an assessment, and then you could add value to that organization based on what they need, right? And you can collaborate with other people. Maybe you're not good at, you know, creative things that you could do with kids, but you have someone who is in your network that you could talk about mindset, and that person could talk about activities you can do with your kids. You could do a quick little webinar, an hour or less, and both of you guys are expanding your network. So hopefully that's a good example for you. But I say all that to say is that the nurture campaign is about ways that you stay top of mind with your current clients. So this nurture campaign that I'm talking about is a messaging or an email sequence. Okay. So I'm just going to highlight, let me see, about 7 things that you could do in this nurture campaign or email sequence. So the first thing is a thank you sequence. Whenever someone does business with you, you can set this on a particular thing where you just set it up in your day, or maybe you could set it up in your list of emails that go out daily, right? You have a task list. And so these are some of these income producing activities that a lot of us don't know what to do when we have a lot of downtime, right? So you could set up a thank you. You make one script, and then that same script is what you use every time you make a sale. So you could hook it up to your sales platform, whatever that looks like. Let's say if they're paying you through PayPal or whatever way that you have them pay you, you can establish a follow-up email that goes with every sale. So, or you can add it to your calendar. Okay, every day at 10 o'clock, when I check my emails, I check to see if anyone bought anything, and then I send them the auto respond thank you for their business. So, one of the ways that you can do this, and it can be effective and you can set it and forget it, is to come up with what are some things that you want to talk about in that thank you. So, you could say, thank you so much for your business. I really appreciate, your support. If there's anything else that I could do to support you, please let me know. That's one avenue. You could say, thank you so much for your business. I appreciate your support. Do you know anybody in your network that could benefit from my services like you are? You also could say, thank you very much for your support. I would love it if you give me a review, right? And put the link to the review, whether it's on Google or LinkedIn or some of these other platforms, right? You can have a thank you with a review. So the point is, when we are intentional with setting that up, we can really go through a nice, thorough thank you and use that same script with everybody. No one would be the wiser, right? It's not bad to show appreciation and gratitude when someone does business with you. But if you set it on some kind of auto system, right, you can do that one time and it's done forever. You just determine who that thank you is going to be sent to. So that's one thing that you can put in a nurture campaign. So we're talking about campaigns because it's President's Day, and so many things we have learned about campaigns that we don't apply to our business. And I'm just thinking, why are we seeing these things and being a part of some of these campaigns, but we're not utilizing them in our own business? So that is a thank you campaign. The next thing is updates. So you can do this through a messaging sequence, whether it's text messages, messages behind the scenes on any of the social media platforms, or in an email. So updates simply look like, hey, I can send one out next week, for example. Hey, you know what? I've taken a little sabbatical off of my podcast, but I want to let you know to be looking out because I'm going to be starting up my season again March 1st. If you know anybody who might be interested in being a guest, please pass this link on to them so that they can schedule a time to highlight their business, right? A lot of people are afraid to do these emails because they're like, I don't want to be salesy and whatever. But updates, people like knowing what's happening, what's new. You never know what that could spark. Maybe their business has changed and they were doing healthcare, but now they're doing construction, and so they want to be able to get in front of your audience to tell them what's new. So just like you're updating them, they may need to update you on what they're doing. So updates is another thing that you could put into your nurture campaign. In addition to that, you can also highlight maybe there is some different income streams that you're in, right? So I just started being a brand ambassador for the metaverse, right? So I'm selling digital real estate for the metaverse. I'm in a comic book. We're doing paraphernalia for the comic book. So I've got all these different things that are going on. So I have people in my network that have kids. Maybe their kids want some of the products that we have, the hoodies, or they want to buy a comic book or whatever. Comic books are good for kids when it comes to education because many of them don't want to read. But if we give them a comic book, they'll read them all day, right? They just keep on going on. They want to see the series. They want to hear what's going on because for them, it's fun. It doesn't seem like reading, but it has a lot of vocabulary in it. So, hey, Amanda, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. This is a great conversation. So if you guys have any questions, I'm doing all the talking, but if y'all have a question, just put it in the comments and I'll answer it, okay? So we are on number 2. We're talking about a nurture campaign, which you could do by email, text messaging, or messenger through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. Okay. Even Pinterest. Pretty much all these platforms have a messaging sequence behind your account that you can communicate. All right. So we said the first thing was thank yous. The next thing is updates. The next one is holidays. So just like today is President's Day. It's really good if we could highlight some of the unusual holidays because it gives you the opportunity to stay top of mind with your client with less noise or traffic. Now, so by that I mean everybody sends out a Christmas card. Now, everybody doesn't. I mean, of course, a lot of us are like, man, I didn't send my cards out by December, whatever. And so we just give up and don't do it. But my point is, it's very popular for people to receive a Christmas card. It's not very popular for people to send a President's Day postcard or St. Patrick's Day. Some of these other, even though they're popular holidays, so to speak, to receive something maybe in the mail or a special note about it, it gives you the opportunity to stand out because a lot of people aren't doing it. And then we have days like corn dog day or cake day or donut day, pizza day. So these are great opportunities that you could send images of those items in a message and say, hey, have a pizza on me or something. I'm just using that as an example, and sending those out. So you're staying top of mind. So it's being able to use some of these days as a tool to stay top of mind with your clients. The next thing is shout outs. People that have been happy with your services. Maybe you've got some new reviews on some of your platforms. You can highlight these people, right? You could say, I want to give a shout out to Yvonne. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for your kind words that you added to my Facebook page. In addition to that, I want to highlight her. She did a podcast with me. Here's our episode. If you need someone that could help you with insurance, she's the go-to person. I don't know. I'm just making that up. But the point is, you can shout them out and edify them at the same time, but it's also drawing attention to you because you're shouting out what they highlighted that you did, right? But you are giving them recognition for that. Maybe you're shouting out people who are sharing your content. We have so many videos, reels, carousels, different content that we put on social media, and we're looking to see how many people viewed it. Did this person like it? Did they make any comments? You can really make someone's day if you simply share a video, make a comment, share it with a friend, whatever, add something, answer a question while they're doing it live. I mean, just a number of things. So this is an opportunity that you could shout out other people. All right. You can also promote products or services. So let's say we're back to that speaker again. The speaker does the virtual events, but the speaker says, hey, you know what? I have noticed that I have so many virtual events. I can't stay on the computer all day. So what I decided to do was make a video series or I decided to make an ebook or a regular book, right? I just had a connection the other day. I did a book launch, virtual book launch. So I'm going to give Terry Lee a shout out. She just got this book released on Valentine's Day. And this is a great opportunity to connect with other people, highlight some people that are doing things in your network, but you could talk about promotional items and things that are new that might be out additional to what you normally do. So you're a speaker, but then you have a book out, something else. So that's something that you could do. You could also offer specials, right? So let's see. I thought I had that. Yeah, I have it here. Okay, I had a special, for an event that I had. It was loving you and your business. So, in addition to somebody purchasing my book, they got a gift with purchase. And this is like my topic in my chapter is my life mask free, and I added a clay mask to it, right? So, hope you guys can see that. But that's something that you could do, right? Offer special things and you could highlight them in an email sequence. And then the last thing is a sequence to where you reach out and say, does anybody want to collaborate? Do you have any events? Do you want to do a webinar? Do you want to do a live event? Right? Is there something that you have that you would like me to support you with gifts for? Right? There's been a number of people that need door prizes. So I'm like, hey, I've got this. Would you like me to gift you some, at your event? Now, a lot of people are like, I don't want to give my products away. But you think about it. You are allowing yourself to be seen as a power partner for this event. And you are getting your products in the front of an audience that you didn't have to work for. See, a lot of people are thinking about it backwards. You have an audience of, depending, let's just say someone has an event, even if it's virtual, of 50 people, right? And I'm just being modest. So it's 50 people that they have at their event. You didn't have to create. You didn't have to send an email. You didn't have to follow up. You didn't have to do anything but donate your product, and they may highlight it. They'll say, hey, you know what? We've got this door prize, and this is a book from one of our connections, Lachelle Atkins. Let me tell you about her. She's America's Supermom. She has 15 kids, and she has given us this book. And if you want to know some insights, some inspirational things, you might want to put your name in the hat so you can get this prize. And in addition to that, she has a gift with purchase, right? Whatever. So whether that's a quick little infomercial or whatever, it's worth it because the people that don't get the prize still hear about you. And they may be able to say, you know what, I didn't get that prize, but, I'm thinking about that mask. I'm thinking about, hey, she is got 15 kids. Her skin looks good. What's she doing? Let me get one of those masks. Okay. So I'm just using that as an example. Because we're our worst critic. I'm like, look, I'm 51 and I'm trying to stay young. I have an 8-year-old, y'all. Our youngest is 8 years old and our oldest is 32. So we don't have any twins. They're all single births, but they're 18 to 20 months apart. So I'm like, I need to stay useful to some extent because I have an 8-year-old and it's going to be a while before she's out of the house. So that's what I would add to that. But collaboration, hey, Kim is on. So Kim knows about collaboration. She usually has a talent show. She's always doing things with the youth. And if I'm not able to make it, I've given her door prizes for her events. I've sent my children as part of entertainment. I had a daughter who sang for her event, the last one she had, and my son was a DJ. So when you think about collaboration, it's not always that you physically are there with certain things, but sometimes you can do things to connect them with people that can help their event be more successful, right? So that's what it's about. It's about collaborating. And When you have a regular campaign to highlight those things, then this is where it really helps your business to run on autopilot and constantly get in front of people and asking them those questions. So you can put it on a sequence where every 3 months, anybody who's new on my network, I'm going to send them this email about collaboration. So hopefully all those tips, you might have found just one that really resonates with you. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see how it's going to work. Now, you can't try something just one time and then make a judgment about it. And see, this is another thing. We're like, I'm going to try that. So we do it one time and we think we're going to get the results. So if I said, oh, I'm going to start working out, I want to really get my legs stronger, and I just do one exercise one day, and then I'm expecting my legs to be at 100 when I've only done it one day. So we have to remember to be consistent, and we have to keep practicing until it becomes a habit. And eventually we're not going to be so engrossed in, did somebody respond? Did somebody do this? We're just going to do it because we know that it's a good thing to practice. We know that it's a good thing to stay informed and top of mind with our clients. And so one of the ways we do this is to plan out how we're going to communicate with them. Oftentimes, a lot of people miss out because they don't stay engaged with their customers. They don't take care of them. That's where the name nurture comes from, because we want to make sure that we cater to their needs before they get to be a problem. We want to keep them satisfied and really comfortable so that it never gets to that, right? So you think about it. If you, with me being a makeup consultant, it doesn't do me any good to wait until my clients are out of all their makeup before I'm calling them. Because sometimes if they're out of their makeup and they have an event, they may say, you know what, I don't have time to wait on when her schedule opens up for me. I need to go to Walgreens or Walmart or somewhere and get me some makeup so that I can get to this event that I need to go to. So it's best for me to consult them. Hey, what are some events that you have coming up? What are some of the colors that you want? It's getting to be spring. Let's talk about your spring wardrobe. It's best for me to be ahead of the curve rather than trying to play catch up, when people are desperate, because we make a lot of decisions out of desperation. They may not be the best, but we are filling a need from a place of scarcity. And, it's going to be one of those things that it may not have the best outcome. And so what happens is when they do things like that, then you come and approach them, then they just still kind of like, even though it's something that they chose to do, they kind of just have this attitude like, I don't even know if I want any makeup anymore, right? It's no different than somebody who has a bad relationship. And then another man comes along, they're like, I'm just through with men for a minute. You know what I'm saying? They don't even give them a chance. And so this can happen if we're not taking care of our customers, because whatever they're doing on their own, that can also affect how they see us later on, because we weren't taking care of their needs. So you want to look at yourself as like a servant. Now, not servant to where it's a bad thing, like a slave, right? But you want to think about like a hostess or, somebody who caters to someone and make sure they're taken care of. Just like when you're at a party, you want to make sure, can I refill your drinks? Are you hungry? What about the music? Can I take your coat for you? Can I introduce you to someone to make your time with us more engaging, more pleasurable, right? You want people to be happy and merry, enjoy themselves. And so that's how you want to be when people are doing business with you. You want them to be happy, to be satisfied. There's nothing like here in the South, people will ask you 9 times over, can I get you something to eat? You sure you don't want anything to eat or to drink? They're so hospitable, right? And so you want it to be like they're so hospitable. You get a drink. Next thing you know, they're bringing you some food, then they're bringing you dessert, they're bringing you all these things, and you are full, right? You don't have a desire to go anywhere and get anything else. That's kind of how you want to do your clients. You want them to be full, but you don't want them to be miserable, right? You want to make sure that it's done in a way that is pleasing for them, that they're comfortable, well taken care of, and they don't even have a desire to look anywhere else for what you provide, and they can focus their attention on maybe it's their business or their children because they see that you have that base covered for them, and they don't have to go out doing research trying to find a better, seller or vendor. They know that you're taking care of their needs so well that they can totally trust you to do that for them, with them having peace of mind with that. That's how you want to be. So I hope that made sense for everybody. What am I teaching? You have to go back and listen to the video, Eric. But we were going over a way that we can have a nurture campaign because it is President's Day. And, when you think about presidents, you can think about their campaigns. So how can we incorporate campaigns in our business? And so I highlighted 7 different ways that we can stay top of mind with our clients in a campaign sequence, whether it's email, text messaging, or something that we can do. Um, you would highlight that. He said he caught the part of me being a servant to him. I love your sense of humor, but he is right, because we met for the first time here in Georgia, and my husband and I did treat him and some other guests to dinner. So he's absolutely right. We did serve him. But thinking about how we can incorporate a campaign in our business, because the campaign is really nothing but a strategy. See, a lot of us, we don't do emails because we're like, well, what am I going to say? I don't want to sound pitchy. I don't want to sound salesy, and all these different things. But, if you understand why you are talking to people and communicate with them, then this makes it easy for you to do this. So I'll go ahead and summarize the different ways, 7 different ways that we can get in front of our clients, leads through Facebook Messenger, Instagram, whatever, or an email campaign. One is to say thank you for them just being a valued customer, giving them the opportunity to know about any updates that you have. Maybe it's a new year, you've changed your prices, or you've added products. That could be something. The holidays, you want to highlight some of the non-traditional holidays. Maybe it's something like Hot Dog Day. Feed your cat day. I don't know. I'm just coming up with stuff, because if you go to nationaltoday.com, they have a list of all the different off holidays that people celebrate, and they're globally. So it could be something across the world that is done. So if you have any international clients or connections, you can highlight them for some of the things that are going on in their part of the world. I know last year we had, I don't know if it was this year or last year, but it was UAE Day, for United Arab Emirates Day. And I had some connections that live there. So I highlighted them for that day. I'm not there, but I highlighted them. So that was a good way for me to make a connection, stay top of mind by doing a post that gave them some more notoriety. We can do shout outs. So we can shout out people that are in our network that are doing great things, shout out them for giving us a review, testimonial, or, sharing some of our products, or maybe they were on our podcast, whatever. That's something. We can promote additional services or products. So if you have gifts with purchase, or maybe you've got a different product category that you've added to your inventory, you are a writer and now you have an audio book instead of just a regular book. I don't know. I'm just using that as an example. You can also offer specials. Okay. He says, shout out your husband. Yeah, that is sweet. To shout him out. As a matter of fact, his birthday is tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. His birthday is the 23rd. I'm getting my dates mixed up. I have been on video. I did an Instagram live. I did a LinkedIn live. Now I'm on Facebook. So y'all bear with me. It's shout out to America's Super Dad. So yes, he is going to be 54, y'all. So if y'all could be on the lookout, wishing him happy birthday, because you know some people love to get on here and see how many people tell them happy birthday for their birthday. So let's be sure to shout him out. And then the last thing is you could send a nurture campaign for collaborations. So Eric is on Clubhouse. Okay. In addition to being on Facebook. So maybe I could say, Eric, I want to have a room on copywriting or something. I don't know. I'm just using that as an example since he is, he said 54 and 21 kids. He's the man. They do keep us young. These kids do. And, you know, we went out to breakfast yesterday because, you know, things get kind of crazy when he's off. You know, he's trying to do all these other projects. Like today, he's gone with 3 of our sons doing some concrete work and all this other stuff for his other business. And so we were talking to the owner of the restaurant because we went to this, it's like a nice restaurant. It's called Two Eggs here in Stockbridge, but you don't have to go downtown Atlanta. You know, I'm all about, hey, I don't want to be in traffic. I just want to be going someplace nice without having to go downtown. So he had went the day before with 2 of our daughters because they wanted to treat him to breakfast and my nephew because his birthday was coming up and my daughter was getting ready to go visit my mom out of town just for the weekend. So before he took her to the airport, they went out to breakfast at this place. He talked to the owner then. So then the next day we go because he still wants to try something else on the menu. So we go to breakfast and he sits there for the whole time. You know, it was a very engaging conversation with the owner. The owner is standing there talking to us. And it's just, he doesn't meet a stranger, right? So he's just going on and on, talking to the nice, you don't have to drive an hour and a half for eggs. But you know what? We treated you though. See, he had to drive quite a ways for us to have dinner with him. But we did make it worth his while because he didn't even have to pay for anything. Okay. So we'll just add that, Eric. Okay. But I appreciate you driving because it is nothing like meeting people in person, right? And seeing them for that. But anyway, I'm going back to thinking about collaborating. I don't know why I was telling that story about my husband talking to the owner. I don't know where I was going with that. But the point is having a nurture campaign and thinking about ways that you can collaborate with other people that may be in your area or your industry, right? And sometimes maybe they're not. You know, I was just thinking like if I know any authors that might want to have a book launch and maybe they want to have it at the restaurant. You know, this restaurant gets really busy on the weekends. They're not open on Mondays, I think, but they're open every other day. So maybe they do like a Saturday and Sunday and they have like a book signing there, you know, and they can just set up a little table. And then as people go in and out of the restaurant, they might want to purchase some copies. I mean, I think a lot like out of the box about some of these things because it's about community and really kind of having that local neighborhood feel with some of the things that we want to promote with other people. So it's a great way to think about what are some local places that you frequent. Maybe it's an ice cream shop. You know, maybe it is something that's off the beaten path, like a more local coffee shop where you can get in and you can, you know, have a talk, you know, talk about your book and with a few of the clients and customers and then sell your products. You know, it's just different ways that you can not always think, oh, I got to get this big amphitheater or I have to have this big room, you know, in one of the rec centers. And, you know, you want to think about intimate places to where you can nurture relationships and not always be about the sale. So that is really a summary, Eric, for you who came on here late. but we're not keeping up with the time, right? But and Eric has some great ideas. He's really good at copywriting and everything. He just got done helping one of our mutual connections with the book launch. And I think she's how many times a bestseller, Eric? I don't know. He can put it in there so we can shout him out because he actually was the catalyst in getting that done. So we want to recognize him for his many talents, okay? In addition to telling jokes, he's a real jokester. But I want to thank all of you guys for 2 eggs and a book. That's good. See what I'm saying? That's a good idea. That's a cute name. And you could even she's a 5-time bestseller. Now, you see what I'm saying? So if you have a book that you want to think about, run it by Eric, reach out to him, send him a message through Facebook Messenger. A lot of people get intimidated. I don't know if I want to add them. You can send a message through Messenger. Okay. You don't have to worry about how many friends they have or anything like that. If you are a friend, just use me. Hey, I was on Lachelle's live and she told me to reach out to you, that type of thing. So that's how networking is done. We have to get out of our comfort zone, of thinking, oh, I want to be introduced this way. Now, virtual is the new thing. I have had so many people that have met their spouses online and they've been married for a while. I mean, we're talking like 10, 20 years and they met them online. So we got to get out of this mindset of thinking, oh, I want to have a handshake, let me see. They should build a lending library at 2 eggs. That's a good idea. Come find a book, get breakfast. Definitely. And like if I have some people who have children's books, that's another thing where they can have the lending library, kind of set up like how Cracker Barrel is. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but Cracker Barrel allows you to do audiobooks. So you can rent out an audiobook and then return it to any Cracker Barrel. At least that's how it has been in the past. I don't know if they still do that, but that could be a really creative thing for possibly them to have books available for kids that are at the restaurant and, they don't have anything to do. Another thing is having coloring in books there to where they have them for sale, because a lot of restaurants have the coloring pages. But if you have a package of, a coloring book with like 3 or 4 crayons, that's a good idea. You know, that's a real good idea, Eric. But you see what happens when you mastermind with people? That's what I say. Anytime you engage in conversation, whether he's texting or talking, really listening to what people are saying, it really sparks creativity and innovation. That's what I tell people all the time. If we hear ourselves talking all the time, we're not going to learn anything new. But if we allow other people to share their perspectives, we can cultivate a conversation that could add to so much more rich content because we can create organic ideas on the spot. So thank you so much, Eric, for that idea. And I think I'm going to run with that. I do have some people who have coloring books, and that might be something that they might want to consider, for the restaurant, because a lot of places, it's cost money to have a children's menu, doing something totally separate. Then you got COVID. You can't, share crayons, all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what I was thinking. But I want to thank y'all so much. I do have to go to my room. I was not anticipating being on here this long, but this has been a lot of fun. I really, really miss Facebook and being on this platform because it was just some great times that I would have here doing these lives. And now it's kind of like more high tech. They've got polls that you could do. And then you've got comments on different platforms. It's just crazy, y'all. So behind the scenes, I'm like, I didn't sign up for all this. I thought I could just turn the camera on and say what is on my mind. But then I got to read. I have to make sure the lighting's right. Can you hear me? All this other stuff, but it's a lot of fun. So I want to thank all of you guys that have engaged with me. Amanda, it's been great seeing you. Trey, Eric as well. And I look forward to you guys adding some comments, reaching out to me if you have any topics that you want me to discuss, or if you want to join me on one of these sessions. I would love to have you. And I don't really have a set schedule. I just said this is President's Day, and I wear red, white, and blue a lot. So I look crazy not getting on video and at least acknowledging the day. I'm America's Supermom. That's crazy, right? So that's why I said, let me go ahead and make sure that I stay top of mind and use this opportunity to really reach out and connect with everybody and share some value to them as well. Because you guys are very supportive and give me a lot of value. I love being able to hang out with you guys. But I got to run. I'm in this challenge. Cheers. I still have a lot of water to drink, and I have one more workout to do. And I still have to read my 10 pages, but I will get it done because I'm on day 50, 25 more days to go. So I appreciate you guys listening. Love you lots, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.